In this video, we are going to understand the peritoneum. So actually the peritoneum is of serous type and it is divided into parietal layer and visceral layer. So in between this parietal layer and visceral layer, there is a cavity and that is called as peritoneal cavity. So the peritoneal cavity is in turn divided into greater sac and lesser sac. You can see here. So in this diagram, you can see clearly this is the lesser sac and this is a greater sac. So how this lesser sac is formed? The lesser sac is formed due to rotation of stomach in clockwise direction. So this is a stomach location. So because of clockwise rotation of the stomach, the lesser sac is formed. So how? Let us find out. So first, if you see on the right side, before original adult abdomen, before during the development, first on the right side there is a liver and spleen, but on the left side there is stomach, ventral mesogastrium and dorsal mesogastrium. But after the rotation, if you see here, the liver has come to the left side and even the spleen has come to the left side, and the stomach, dorsal, ventral mesogastrium have moved towards right side. So this is a clockwise direction. So because of this clockwise direction, there is formation of lesser sac. What is ventral mesogastrium? Ventral mesogastrium is one which is connecting the stomach to the anterior abdominal wall, and the dorsal mesogastrium is connecting the stomach to the posterior abdominal wall. Okay, so dorsal means to the posterior abdominal wall, ventral means to the anterior abdominal wall. So this is how they are useful. Now coming to spleen. So if you see the spleen, it is projecting into greater sac. Okay, spleen is projecting into greater sac. So how? You can see here, this is the spleen and this is the greater sac. So it is somewhat this is stomach. Spleen will be here. So as I said, the spleen and liver are coming towards the left side. Okay, so they are projecting into the greater sac, not omentum, greater sac. Okay, so spleen is towards a greater sac. And next coming to epiploic foramen. So what is epiploic foramen? It is which connecting the lesser sac and greater sac with each other. So in this diagram, clearly you can see this is a epiploic foramen and this is a lesser sac. This is the greater sac. So this lesser sac can now communicate with greater sac by means of epiploic foramen. Now let us see the relations of lesser sac. So this is a lesser sac. What are the relations of it? So first we'll observe the diagram. You can see this is the liver. This is a greater omentum and this greater omentum is having 4 layers. This is the first layer, this is the second layer, this is the third layer, this is the fourth layer. So there are 4 layers for greater omentum. Okay, so this is greater omentum. Then where is lesser omentum? This is lesser omentum. The lesser omentum is the one which is connecting the liver to the stomach. So actually this is the liver, this is the stomach, and this is a transverse colon. And here you have epiploic foramen, and here you will have pancreas and also kidneys because they are retroperitoneal. Okay, and here you have small intestine, and back of small intestine you are having mesentery which is connecting the small intestine to posterior abdominal wall. Actually this is a posterior abdominal wall and this is a anterior abdominal wall. So to the posterior abdominal wall, the small intestine is attached by means of mesentery. And also you can see small intestine is nothing but having a jejunum and ileum, right? So jejunum and ileum are connected to mesentery. Okay, and here you will be having the rectum and uterus. So between the rectum and uterus you have a pouch that is called as rectouterine pouch. So according to the name, you can just name them. Next, vesico-uterine. Vesico means rectum. Uterine. Vesico-uterine pouch is this side. This is a vesico-uterine pouch. Okay. So that is between especially the urinary bladder and the uterine pouch. Means urinary bladder, and so vesico-uterine pouch is between the urinary bladder and rectum, whereas rectouterine pouch is between rectum and uterus in female. Okay, so these are the 2 pouches which are present here. So now let us discuss the boundaries of lesser sac. Actually, the lesser sac is also called as omental bursa. So lesser sac is also called as lesser sac is also called as omental bursa. And this lesser sac is having boundaries like anterior boundary, posterior boundary, superior, inferior. So everything now we can itself say by means of this diagram. So this is a lesser sac. Okay, anterior to it, what you are seeing, you'll see the caudate lobe of liver here. This is caudate part of liver, and you will see the lesser omentum here, and you will see the stomach. Also you will see greater omentum first and second layer. So these are all the anterior boundary of lesser sac. Okay, so now coming to the posterior boundary of lesser sac, it is formed by third and fourth layer of greater omentum, transverse colon, transverse mesocolon, and also the pancreas. Now coming to the superior relation to lesser sac. So superiorly you will be having peritoneal reflection from the diaphragm to the liver. You know, here you will have diaphragm, so the peritoneal reflection from the diaphragm to the liver is in the superior side. Now coming to the inferior side, you have only the second and third layers of greater omentum, second and third layers of greater omentum inferior. So these are the four boundaries of lesser sac. Okay, so you can see here again, lesser sac anteriorly have caudate lobe of liver, lesser omentum, stomach, greater omentum 1 and 2 layers. Posteriorly 3 and 4 greater omentum, transverse colon, transverse mesocolon, pancreas. And superiorly peritoneal reflection from diaphragm to liver. Inferiorly 2 and 3 layer of greater omentum. Okay, so these are the relations. Now coming to boundaries of epiploic foramen. So for this, let us understand this diagram. For example, this is a epiploic foramen. Okay, and if you see above the epiploic foramen, you are having caudate lobe of liver, and if you see anteriorly, there is free margin of lesser omentum. In the free margin of lesser omentum, there are triad structures. So what are those triad structures? One is a common bile duct, one is a portal vein, one is a proper hepatic artery. So these triad structures are for in the free margin of lesser omentum, which is forming an anterior boundary to our epiploic foramen. And posteriorly there is inferior vena cava, and below, you said above caudate lobe, so below you are having first part of duodenum. So let us see the boundaries of epiploic foramen. So anteriorly you are having right free margin of lesser omentum, okay, with common bile duct, portal vein, and proper hepatic artery. Okay, next coming to lesser omentum. One more thing, here you can see it is right to common bile duct. What they are saying, common bile duct is right of common bile duct, portal vein posteriorly, proper hepatic artery left of common bile duct. So actually what they are saying, so right to left structure. So this is right side, this is left side. Okay, so right to most you are having common bile duct. Okay, and portal vein is in the middle, and on the left side you are having proper hepatic artery. So we are having one clinical applied anatomy, that is a Pringle maneuver. What is Pringle maneuver? If you put a clamp, so this is a clamp in right free margin of lesser omentum, then what happens? That is Pringle maneuver. This is a applied anatomy. Okay, next coming to hepatoduodenal ligament and block hepatic. So because of this there is a blockage of hepatoduodenal ligament, and there is blocking of hepatic triad structures. So all these triad structures, that is on the right side common bile duct, in the middle portal vein, and on the left side are proper hepatic artery, all these are blocked by means of this Pringle maneuver. Okay, so this we need to understand. Next coming to the peritoneal folds. Before peritoneal folds, we will see that I said this is lesser omentum, right? Lesser omentum is divided into two types. One is the hepatogastric part, one is the hepatoduodenal part. So what is hepatogastric part? It is here, this one. Hepatogastric means between the liver and stomach, that is the hepatogastric. And the other one is a hepatoduodenal part, that is between the liver and the duodenum. Okay, so it is a hepatoduodenal part. It mainly contains the portal triad structures, means this one. So this free margin of lesser omentum is nothing but which is a hepatoduodenal part, whereas hepatogastric part have only left gastric artery, right gastric artery. Okay, left gastric artery, right gastric artery are present in hepatogastric part. So now it's time to discuss the peritoneal folds. So actually, what are peritoneal folds? The peritoneal folds are formed by the visceral layer, okay, and they are suspending the organs from the posterior abdominal wall, and also they convey different blood vessels. So they are suspending the organs from posterior abdominal wall. These are the peritoneal folds. So omentum in the stomach, it's a peritoneal fold. So omentum, it's divided into lesser omentum, greater omentum. Lesser omentum connects the stomach and liver. Clearly in the diagram you can see liver, stomach, in middle lesser omentum. Greater omentum, it is connecting the stomach and transverse colon. So you can see here this is a greater omentum connecting the stomach with the transverse colon. So just if you know this diagram, you can understand all this theory. Okay, so and first one is continuous as fourth layer and second layer is continuous as third layer. How? Let us see. So you can see here this is the first layer which is continuous as fourth layer. This is the second layer which is continuous as third layer. Okay, so that is what we are saying here. And remember that the right and left gastroepiploic vessels are present in greater omentum. They are actually anastomos. For example, here you have your stomach like this. Okay, and this is a greater omentum. So here you will get right and left gastroepiploic arteries and the anastomos here like this. Okay, so now let us discuss the contents of lesser omentum. So as we have seen, lesser omentum contain left gastric artery, right gastric artery, portal vein, proper hepatic artery, common bile duct. So actually these three are triad structures and these are the left and right gastric artery. So these are the contents of lesser omentum. Now coming to the hepatorenal pouch of Morrison. So actually the lesser sac is also known as left subhepatic recess. Hepatorenal pouch of Morrison is also known as right subhepatic recess. So this hepatorenal pouch of Morrison is nothing but the right subhepatic recess. So what is subhepatic? Subhepatic means below the liver. So below the liver on the right side, what space you have, that is called as right subhepatic recess, which is a hepatorenal pouch of Morrison. Okay, whereas the lesser sac, also known as left subhepatic recess, that is on the left side below the liver, the space you have is called as left subhepatic recess, that is lesser sac. And this hepatorenal pouch of Morrison, it is the most dependent recess in the supine position. So it is the most dependent space. So if you see the boundaries, anteriorly it has the inferior surface of liver, and on the posterior side it have right kidney, right suprarenal gland, and on the left side it has epiploic foramen. So you can draw this. So for example, this is our liver. Okay, so below the liver, exactly below the liver, on the right side here, this is right side. So below the liver on the right side here, this place is called as right subhepatic recess, also called as hepatorenal pouch of Morrison, and this is the most dependent recess in supine position. Okay, and if you see boundaries, anterior to it you will have the inferior surface of liver. Posteriorly, backside, if you see, you will be having a right kidney and also right suprarenal gland upon it. And left side, if you see on the left side here, you will be having a epiploic foramen. Okay, so these are the relations of hepatorenal pouch of Morrison. Now let us see what is the difference between the mesentery and mesocolon. So mesentery is a peritoneal fold which is suspending the jejunum and ileum, that are nothing but the small intestine contents or loops from the posterior abdominal wall. So this is a mesentery. So coming to the mesocolon, they are the peritoneal folds which are suspending colon from posterior abdominal wall. So what is the difference? Mesentery is suspending only the small intestine from posterior abdominal wall, whereas mesocolon is only suspending the colon from the posterior abdominal wall, and in turn it is divided into transverse mesocolon, sigmoid mesocolon. Transverse mesocolon is having middle colic veins whereas sigmoid mesocolon have sigmoid vessels, superior rectal vessels. Okay. So coming to the mesentery. So mesenteric content is superior mesenteric artery and vein. So superior mesenteric artery and vein. It also contains jejunum and ileum, and also it contains jejunal and ileal arteries. Okay. So what are the parts of the mesentery? So this is a mesentery. It is having a root and also it is having a margin, attached margin, which is an intestinal border. So this intestinal border, this is the root. Okay. So it is extending, the root of mesentery is extending from duodenojejunal junction, that is between the duodenum and jejunum, here duodenojejunal junction, to the ileocecal junction. This is the ileum and this is the cecum. So here you have ileocecal junction, which is right side of sacroiliac joint. So this is extending from duodenojejunal junction to the ileocecal junction. Okay, this is the mesentery. So the root of mesentery is extending from the level of L2 on the left side to sacroiliac joint on right side. So right side sacroiliac joint is nothing but ileocecal junction, L2 level is nothing but duodenojejunal junction. So it is total 15 centimeters long. So now let us see what are the structures which are crossed by root of mesentery. So from the root of mesentery, what are all the structures passing? So from the root of mesentery, first is the third part of duodenum. So you can see this is the third part of duodenum. Next you have the abdominal aorta. Next you have the inferior vena cava. Next you have the right psoas major muscle. Next you are having a right genitofemoral nerve. Next one comes the right ureter, and the seventh one is the right gonadal vessels. So you need to remember all these structures. These all structures are crossing the root of mesentery. So by this we have completed this chapter.